and welcome to the Nexus. Today we're going to be doing issue 107 of our Tumbler build. Let's get going. Okay, so just like what we thought was, we're going to have a look at the bits that we got to do, but we are going to be attaching this part to the back of our car, basically. Now, it is in a tight space, so filming it is going to be a little bit problematic, but we'll get there. Just like I thought as well, we do need the UP screw, XP and CM screw that we had in the last issue. This is the box that we get in issue 107. We'll have a look in the box first, and then we'll move over to the car. We will need to bring the car over. Like I said, filming it like I would normally film it, it's going to be a little bit problematic, so I might have to move the camera slightly, but we'll get there in the end. So let's do this. Okay, so these are all the bits that we need. We'll bring over the car in a minute. Okay, so we get two little things. So we do get a panel, which we're going to be using. That will come into play in due course. And then we also get the start of the rear axle. And that is one piece, and it is die cast. It's quite heavy. Do you know what I'm going to do, actually? Because we don't use it in this issue, I'm actually going to place it back in the box that it came in, but that's what we get. So effectively, we've got all the parts that we're going to build already, which we could have done in the following issue. But because they've given us this, they need us to do something. So this is why I believe we've got this. Now, there are a few things on here. I believe this is where the shock absorbers will sit. And these bits at the back here, I do believe this is going to sit sort of like that. And then we've got those parts that come down. I think they're going to sit in here somehow. And then we've got like a weird combination there as well, because obviously that is going to have to be extended, obviously, because there's two wheels either side of this, and this will sit underneath the booster. So where the cutout is on the underside of the booster, that's where that will sit. I don't know whether it's going to go that way or that way, but I imagine these are where the shock absorbers are going to sit, and the black things that come down, they will probably sit here. I don't know whether we'll get two of these, or no, we'll get one, won't we? We'll probably just get this one. We'll have a look, see what comes in the next issue. Maybe that will lead us to some clues, but I'm going to stick it back in the box. I'm going to bring over now the tumbler, so let's get going. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is place this onto here first. Now we need to pull these apart. That needs to sit there. And we've got to do some things down here. So let me get a closer view of that. Okay, so we've rested this on. And as you can see, these pistons that come down here, they're going to hook onto here. So we've got to do that prior. So that one's going to go on there. And then that one on there. And we've got to do it on both sides. I'm wondering if popping these off might make it easier. So they've got to come out. So let me just pop these off, and then we can see what's even better with that. Okay, so they're both on just here, and then we've got to pull these down. Make sure they're down. This has got to sit back. Like so, and then these can get pushed in the sides like so, and that goes in like that. So it sort of worked. Hang on a second. So we pull that. Come on, done again. Okay, so it's lining it up properly. I think what I'm going to do first is line this up like so, and then stick these two bits on. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I've tried to do this a good 20 minutes, half an hour, to try and line this up without screwing it in and pop them in. Now, I could glue these bits in, and I probably will, but the first thing we've got to do is you've got to screw in this top. So I'm going to actually go ahead and do that. We're going to screw it in. Here we're going to use CM screws at the top and XP screws here before I try and do this, because it's very, very difficult to do it as the book says. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so XP CM screws, and once that is fully installed first, it becomes a lot easier to install these pistons, which is what I've done there because of how they all sit. So the next thing we're going to do is flip up this, and we're going to attach that pipe there onto the end there. We're going to do that both sides. Okay, so we've done that one, and then the next one, go on there. Oh, just no, hang on a second. There we go, just like that. So they go into there, so at the sides they look like that. We have got now UP screws, and we're going to attach these parts here, so this here, to the aileron. So that's going to sit up here, so we're going to attach them on with UP screws. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so if we look up, hang on a second, let me get some light on that. Just here, so you got one there, and then the other one under there. They are difficult to get to, and you have to put the screw in. You have to put the screw in one way, so it goes in this way, and the same for this way. It doesn't go vice versa. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is we need to put on our little clip, our little sort of cover, which we're going to put on there. Okay, so the last bit is now just to put this cover on like so, like that. So the back section is on now, and all done. Like I said, I think the let me bring up the axle. Okay, so the rear axle will sit like that. Probably the other way actually. Let me twist it round. So it's going to sit like that. That way these obviously where the shocks are going to sit. And then these parts, one will obviously go on that side, and then maybe one on that side. So maybe it doesn't, maybe it sits like this. Ah, yeah. Yep, I think we've just done it, Batman. I think it sits like that. That is in the right position for that. It also means these can sit into these grooves here. So actually, if I go like that, yeah, they do, it sits in. So it either sits in that way or the other way. So hang on, let me flip it. So the smaller end is at the top. Yeah, I think I've cracked it. Oh, I've only gone and cracked it. So the rear axle section sits like that. Because that bit there, this top one, is going to sit on that top one there. Isn't it? It's going to sit like that. That bottom one there. Hang on a sec, let me get some light on that. And then obviously it'll be the other side as well. Then the shock absorber will sit on here and go up there. Oh my God, I think I just cracked it. That's exactly where it sits. Can't believe I've just done that. We've just worked it out. So yeah, that's where the rear axle will sit. And then obviously it will do the same that side as well. So I probably have to come over a little bit. And then we screw it in here. Shock absorber in there. And then the wheels doubled up just here. Lovely. So we've only gone and cracked it. It's exactly where it sits, perfectly where those two supports are. And it sits where the shock absorber will sit. So I think the rear axle is exactly where I've just said it is. So that's cool. Okay, anyway, come in issue 108, we get the shock absorbers. Now, it looks like all we're doing is going to attach the shock absorbers onto the rear axle. We don't obviously put the rear axle up yet, but I would imagine either issue 109 or 110, that is when we're going to attach that rear axle, exactly how I've just put it on the car itself. I can't see it going any other way. Okay, so yeah, that was a little bit trickier, that putting that back section in. Now in the magazine it does tell you to put the four arms on before you screw it down. I found it a lot easier to screw it down then put it on. As you see, I must have been 20 minutes trying to put them on, and then obviously you saw me take them off and try to put them on and put them down. They just kept pinging out. I didn't want to glue anything down at the minute because I thought there was, you know, it's a better way of doing it. The air brake system at the back obviously works with the ailerons, so when you push the button they move. Once again, they don't move very much, but they do move. And also that was quite fiddly as well because of the way you have to get the screwdriver in. It's at an angle, it's a very tight angle to get to, but the screw only goes in one way because it's the hole is bigger at one end and then it's sort of tighter at the other, obviously for you to screw into. So the actual screw goes in only one way, and it's trying to sort of get the screw in and the silver sort of pylon section there in at the same point, as well as trying to screw it in without flipping the car up or anything else. And like I said, it's quite a tight space behind there. So yeah, it is that. But we are getting closer. I'm really happy that I've figured out where the rear axle will sit, and it's exactly how I said. So it's the longer bit at the bottom, the shorter section at the top, and the two pistons or the two support bars that come out attach onto those bits either side. So I've got it absolutely perfect, and you can also see on the axle as well where the shock absorber will sit. So I'm just going to take it off and show you, because you know it doesn't go on quite yet. So it sits like this. So those four supports will sit on there, and the shock absorbers will sit on here. I think we're doing the shocks next issue. It's clear that we attach them on here, but we don't actually attach this section yet. But once we do, it's just the wheels to go on. But there are other attachments onto this wheel. So I would imagine there'd be like, I don't know, sort of brake pads maybe on here, just like we had at the front. And yeah, you've got all those holes there. So obviously for other things maybe, or maybe that's the whole wheel, I don't know. Or maybe there's rods that go through, or longer screws, because obviously there's two tyres on each side. But all will be explained. But I'm really chuffed and happy actually that I've figured that out. So it sits like that, and then the two parts go into these groove sections here, the two supports on either side. And as you saw, it lines up absolutely perfect. But I'm glad that we've got that bit sorted. We are now moving on to, I would say, the back of the wheels now, the back of the car. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure you click like, subscribe and comment. I've been the Nexus. We will catch you next time. But until then, take it easy and we'll see you later.
Tune into the channel, Nexus is the name. All the hottest content, you'll never be the same. Laughs and thrills, excitement,